Do you ever have that low hum of dread on a Sunday night? That heavy feeling in your chest where you realize you're just a few hours away from another 1,500 commutes and 1,000 more times asking a manager for permission to be somewhere else? It's a feeling shared by millions, but we've been told the same story our whole lives to keep us in that cycle. If you want to retire early, you need a massive salary. You need to be a tech bro or a CEO. But I've spent way too much time reading IRS documents and boring math to tell you that the system is lying to you. Just last month, I opened my banking app and tapped a screen nobody ever looks at: interest earned year to date. I had $10,000 sitting there all year, and my bank paid me exactly $14. Meanwhile, that same bank made over $92 billion in a single year off the gap between what it pays people like me and what it charges people like me. Everything I'm about to show you is sitting in plain sight on government websites and buried in your own benefits portal. Retirement isn't a mountain of gold you reach when you're 65. It's a math problem that most people are solving incorrectly. Today, we're going to look at the one number that actually determines when you can stop working. And no, it's not the number on your paycheck. Most people think the answer to "how long do I have to work" depends on how much they earn. It doesn't. It depends almost entirely on one number: your savings rate. This is simply the percentage of your take-home pay that you keep instead of spend. Think about it like this. If you make $500,000 a year but spend $500,000 a year, you can never retire. It doesn't matter how high your status is. Your body will file a formal complaint before you ever reach the finish line. But if you save 100% of your income, congratulations, you're already retired. Everyone lives somewhere between those 2 points, and where you sit determines your entire working life. Back in 2012, a blogger named Mr. Money Mustache published what is essentially the periodic table of personal finance. Based on average market returns, if you follow the factory settings and save 10% of your income, you are looking at 51 years of work. If you start at 22, you're retiring at 73 and hoping your knees kept the receipts. But watch what happens when you move the needle just a little bit. Bump that to 15% and your working life drops to 43 years. Push it to 25% and it drops to 32 years. Look at that gap. By moving from a 10% savings rate to 25%, you didn't just shave off a couple of years. You deleted 19 years of alarm clocks. And the best part? Your salary never had to change. This is the engine of early retirement, because every dollar you don't spend grows your freedom pile while simultaneously shrinking the size of the pile you actually need to live on. Now, I know what you're thinking. Nick, I can't just save 25% of my money. I have a life. I don't want to eat instant noodles in the dark. That is completely fair, but here is the secret the banks won't email you about. A huge chunk of your savings rate isn't being spent by you, it's being skimmed by them. The factory settings on your accounts are designed to keep you working longer to fund their record profits. To get your decade back, you just need to flip 4 switches. Major banks like Chase or Wells Fargo often pay 0.01% interest on standard accounts. At the same time, FDIC-insured high-yield savings accounts are paying around 4%. That's 400 times the interest for the exact same level of safety. On a $10,000 emergency fund, that's the difference between earning $1 a year and $400 a year. Your laziness is literally a line item on their earnings report. If your employer offers a 401k match, this is the highest guaranteed return on the planet. The average match is about 4.6% of your pay, usually offered as 50 cents on the dollar. That's a 50% instant return before the market even moves. Yet 25% of workers walk past $24 billion in free money every year. Log into your portal tonight and set your contribution to the full match. It's an immediate raise. This is where the decade genuinely starts coming back. If you invest $100,000 for 30 years at a 6% return in a fund charging 0.1%, you end up with $574,000. If that fund charges 2%, you end up with $334,000. That 2% fee ate $250,000, and you never even saw a bill because it was taken out of your returns before they reached you. Professionals will tell you they can beat the market, but the SPIVA scorecard shows that over 15 years, the number of professional categories that beat a boring index fund was 0 out of 22. Swap your high-fee funds for a total market index fund with an expense ratio like 0.05%. The HSA is the most powerful retirement account in America. It is triple tax-advantaged. Tax-deductible going in, tax-free growth, and tax-free withdrawals for medical expenses. Most people use it as a medical debit card, but the real move is to invest the balance, pay small bills out of pocket, and save the receipts. You can reimburse yourself tax-free decades later after the money has compounded. To see how this works in the real world, meet the Parkers. They have a combined income of $83,730, the exact U.S. median. In version A, they follow the system's defaults, a 9% savings rate, high-fee funds, and no HSA investing. They retire at 61. In version B, they have the exact same income, but they flip the switches. They increase their 401k and HSA contributions, swap to low-fee index funds, and use a high-yield savings account. Their effective savings rate hits 32%. They are done at 54. Same family, same paychecks. The only difference is the defaults they refused to accept. But how do they touch that money before 59.5? They use a Roth conversion ladder. By converting 401k funds to a Roth IRA during their early retirement years, when their income is low, they can withdraw that money penalty-free after 5 years. If that doesn't fit, they use the Rule of 55 or Rule 72, all legal backup doors written into the tax code. Retiring at 54 instead of 64 isn't about owning a yacht. It's about buying back your Tuesdays. It's about 300 fewer Sunday nights spent in dread and 1,500 fewer commutes. The difference between the you who works until 73 and the you who retires a decade early isn't luck. It's about taking an hour tonight to fix 4 settings the system preset against you. The financial industry's entire business model is built on the assumption that you won't do boring paperwork tonight. Don't be the person who works 7 extra years to fund someone else's record quarter. Be the rounding error in their forecast. Go check your savings rate, flip the switches, and I'll see you in the next one.